third baseman, number 19.
From Little League sluggers working on their craft to big leaguers taking home the sport's ultimate prize. You are only as good as your equipment.
When you bring a bat to a professional player and put it in his hands, he doesn't care what it looks like, he cares what it feels like.
Fall River is the spot known across the nation for one of the top pro bat factories. Meet Lou Ledoux of Axis Bats.
What's really important is when a player hits a bat and he hears that crack. He knows that that's a solid piece of wood. And that solid piece of wood comes from, number one, where it grows, how it's grown, the climate that it comes from, and the finish that's put into it.
But the entire process starts with a good piece of wood. And for Lou, he uses a familiar face to New Englanders, Bill Spaceman Lee.
I swing all the ones that have flaws in it. Because my league, the umpires don't check. It competes with Louisville. I love Louisville. I love their business model. I love everything about them. But this is where the wood is.
He's a pitcher, but he knows more about hitting and wood than a lot of guys I do business with out there every day.
From Spaceman's tree farm in Vermont to MLB stadiums across the country, Ledoux's Accelerator bat is one of the hottest bats in pro baseball, used by at least one player on every Major League Baseball team, including the reigning AL MVP, Mookie Betts. But Ledoux's journey in baseball has thrown him plenty of curveballs.
We were the exclusive supplier of bats for Nakona. So when your customer goes out of business, you have no business.
After years of hard work and a little help from the Spaceman, Ledoux is back in the batter's box once again as baseball's top bat makers.
It's New England resiliency. We'll be the best bat company in the world. No doubt about it.
Reporting from Fall River, I'm Joe Kayada, Sports Team 10.
Fall River, Massachusetts, a beautiful New England city with a unique landscape and beautiful Victorian-style homes. But one home's history is associated with a gruesome killing. August 4th, 1892, Andrew Borden and his second wife Abby were found dead in their 2nd Street home. Andrew's daughter, Lizzie Borden, suspected, arrested, but then acquitted of all charges in a high-profile case. Lizzie and her sister bought a large, luxurious home on French Street not long after the trial. This house was apparently the home of Lizzie's dreams, and it would eventually be where she died. Some say her spirit is still within these walls. That's why I'm here. I've teamed up with DLH Paranormal Investigation.
That house is very active.
Is anyone here that would like to speak with us?
To try and find out if Lizzie's spirit is still here.
The organization you with?
We're DLH Paranormal. So we're kind of unusual in the fact that we are an all-female group.
Deb Vickers' all-female investigative team takes its work very seriously.
It doesn't scare us away, as we're more just interested to find out what it is.
We start with a rundown of investigative equipment.
This is a REM pod millimeter. This is the obelisk.
Then head to the basement.
Lizzie Borden, if you're here, are you happy to be able to once again entertain in your house?
Speak into my red light. We're not here to harm you.
During an EVP session, I had a few questions myself.
How long have you been here? How many people are in this room?
Well, I think even though she was acquitted of the murders, a lot of people still believed that she did it.
I also used dowsing rods to get answers.
Lizzie, are you here with us right now?
Was there communication with unrested spirits here? Our investigation was inconclusive. But one thing I am sure of is that I'll remember this experience for a lifetime.
The souls of these soldiers are here in a formation, and you know, it really, it kind of hits you in the gut when you first see it, I think.
Operation Stand Down Rhode Island's Boots on the Ground for Heroes Memorial.
6,957 boots, and every boot tells the story of a soldier that's been killed post 9/11 in the global war on terror.
If you could just place one chain over the toe.
Placards placed by volunteers, old and young.
Yeah, and then we'll go to the next one, right?
Put names and faces to sacrifices made.
We should remember them for the sacrifice, obviously, but also for the lives well lived.
Unfortunately, I'm going to know some of the names that I'm putting. I've toured a few times, and unfortunately I've had some friends that passed away.
It might bring up some pain for service members. I also think that it offers an outlet, and it does a lot to help heal.
Virginia, Washington.
They're alphabetical by state, so we can find any boot for anybody who wants to come out here and find somebody they knew, they loved, they served with, somebody they cared about.
Right out in front, Rhode Islanders. A platoon of 29 pairs of boots in a circle represent them.
We think that it's just really important to pop out our Rhode Islanders and show just the sacrifice that Rhode Island made.
At a fitting place, Fort Adams and Newport, all throughout Memorial Day weekend.
This is a historic military fort, one of the oldest in the country. Right now, these boots, they're standing on one of the oldest parade fields in the United States.
And for those of us not experiencing loss firsthand, a place to pay tribute.
It's not about going to the beach, it's about this. It's about remembering these people who made that ultimate sacrifice.
In Newport, Jared Pelletier, NBC 10 News.
I think she knows you.
The journey for this search K9 starts with the search for a home.
Everyone remembers her.
7 years ago, Ruby wound up at the Rhode Island SPCA.
You know, not a big dog physically, but a big dog.
Too much energy, sometimes aggressive, but incredibly smart.
They ask all the time, you know, hey, do you have any good dogs at the shelter? And I'll say, they're all good dogs. You know, and every once in a while, there's a great one.
I know.
Ruby almost didn't get to show it. 4 failed adoption attempts. She was set to be euthanized.
She needed to be with the right person.
Or right partner.
The reason I love her so much is the second I start putting my uniform on during the daytime, she starts barking because she wants to go to work. But this past October, Ruby's outdoor work met her past.
It's like someone kicked me in the stomach.
Pat Inman's young adult son unexpectedly left home early one morning. It quickly became a missing persons case.
Running through that like this can't be real.
So Gloucester police call state police for help. Who shows up? A dog Pat remembers well from the SPCA.
I think he said Ruby's the dog who's going to look for your son.
We just basically went out and tried to stay positive.
Ruby was up for the task.
He took me into the woods and I called her and she didn't come back. So all of a sudden I started to get a little excited because I said maybe she's got onto something.
Ruby found him about 1.5 miles away from his house, unconscious.
He had a very weak pulse. So of course a rush of emotion comes and I said, we got him, we can save him.
From unwanted rescue dog to lifesaver.
He would not have made it another day. She saved his life.